Hello, welcome to the new channel, The Dry Almas. I'm your host, Carmen. Dry Almas means the three grandmothers. First of all, sorry for the graphics. I'm not very good with designs. I'm specialized in translation. I'm fan from aliens topics, conspiracy theories, and all cultures. And of course, I support the idea that the aliens create us. But we don't look like them. We don't look like them, and much less them. We were created in the image and likeness of the Creator. To these three women, when we study the old cultures, we will find that they were a matriarchy. Women were free, and even they rule. At what point we change to patriarchy and why? Aliens are real. There are many races. But the biggest conspiracy is that the aliens who created us were these three women. But what happened? And the most important thing is why we are not allowed to have contact with the other races. That is what we are going to study in this channel. When we talk about the most of the religion, they all talk about an original sins. What we will study in this channel is that in many books and Bibles, all texts were wrong translated. The original sin is our genetic. We are a mixed race. Mixing with other races has already happened in the past. And at that time, mixing between races was strictly forbidden. But it's a woman who disobeyed. I personally support what she did. And for me, it was not a disobedience, it was a Valkyrie. In the German regulation, Valkyrie means under certain circumstances, an act of disobedience is a must. In all the cultures and folklore, they talk about an ancient war between the eagle and the snake. This conflict is what led to the Great Flood, or what we call the heat. The Pangaea, when we were a single continent and it was separate, it was not for the reasons that we were told, and it has not millions years. It most recently. What are the basis for my arguments? I studied the work of a man who rediscovered the mother language. He called it Elengoa, the language of the sky. It was before the great flood and the heat. He was able to decipher the first Pistus disc, and after that he realized that many old languages are the same. The only difference are the symbols that they use, but from grammatic and phonetic they are the same. He was very clear and transparent in the methodology that he was using to translate. And then we can learn the mother language right now as we learn a foreign language. Based in his books and research, I create a blog where you can find some manuals, and I will be publishing some translation of my own, especially for the Egyptian text. The methodology of Champollion is incomplete. Using the methodology of translation of Alexander Eleazar, the history is more extended as we know it. But don't believe me, don't believe him, but at least you will have a new methodology of translation and you will have tools to verify the information by yourself. But who was Alexander Eleazar? He was a contemporary of Zacharias Sitchin. He wrote his books almost at the same time, but at that time, internet was not spread as today. And he wrote his books in Spanish. He lived in Spain and didn't had much echo as Zacharias' books. Unfortunately, Zacharias Shiji never left the methodology he used to translate his books, but Alexander left the methodology to translate Iberic, Egyptian, and cuneiform. And based on that, he told us the story about these three women. And if you study the cultures around the world, you will find these three ladies in all the cultures. What I'm going to explore in this channel is that the history of the first aliens who arrived to this planet, how was the mixing between these races, and the conflict that leads to the Great Flood. And what happened later? The life continued. The first biggest reset in history was with Emperor Constantine. We will analyze if he was a hero or what the biggest mistake after the Great Flood. And the most important question is why we are not allowed to have contact with the other races. Well, that is what I'm going to explore in this channel. If there is an owner of this world, it belongs to a woman. It belongs to a queen. Because this woman, she was the woman who disobeyed. And thanks to that is that we exist, that we are here. Thank you, Grandma. But let's begin. In the next episode, we will explain how to translate the Festus disc using the methodology of Alexander Eleazar. I hope you enjoyed this journey with me, and until the next time.